Good afternoon. Just over 20 minutes to go in this afternoon's football matches. There's plenty of time for scorelines to change. Final score will chart the progress of all the games underway. Les Ferdinand, Gary Pallister and Garth Crooks are paying close attention to the Barclays Premier League matches being played. Manchester City 1, Arsenal 3 is a result. Arsenal top of the Barclays Premier League table. More details on the way after this whistle-stop tour. First call is to White Hart Lane, where Tottenham are playing Manchester United. Can they respond? Adam Parsons reporting.
Well, not so far, Ray, because at the moment it's Tottenham 1, Manchester United 0. A game replete with plenty of attacking intent, but so far only one goal. And that, a rather messy one. It was stabbed home by Dimitar Berbatov after Jermaine Genius's long run and Aaron Lennon's cross. Edwin van der Sar said there was a handball. I don't think there was. United have filled an absolute array of attackers in this match. They're all here. Ronaldo, Rooney, Tevez, Nani, Anderson. But so far, they haven't really come close to a goal. It's heartbreaking for them, but it's 1-0 to Tottenham.
Coventry have lost the last 4. They're going to get a victory, it would appear. 2-0 up at home to Barnsley. Next stop is Fratton Park, where Portsmouth are playing Chelsea. 9th versus 3rd at kick-off. Chelsea very much in the title race. David Garrido reporting.
Well, it's Portsmouth 1, Chelsea 1, and Fratton Park is rocking with the prospect of Pompey holding another of the big 4 to a draw at home. Nicholas Anelka finished off a superbly worked move involving Florent Malouda and Joe Cole, angling his body well to stab the ball home for the opener. But the real story here is Jermaine Defoe on his Portsmouth debut after that £9 million move from Tottenham, latching onto a flick on from the incredibly industrious Milan Baros and firing well past Petr Cech to equalise. Herman Bryderson has just put a far post header into the side netting as well for the hosts, and it's Portsmouth 1, Chelsea 1.
The latest twists and turns now in the relegation issue. Birmingham, 4th bottom and going into home game with bottom of the table Derby County, who are approaching the playing for pride tag. Ivan Gaskell at St Andrews.
Yes, it's 0-0 with just around about 17 minutes left here. Excitement levels, if not quality, has picked up since the break. Birmingham picking up where they left off, contriving to miss a succession of chances, but at last frustration has ended because they have taken the lead. It was 0-0 at the break, but they've ended that frustration. Larson winning a header at the far post and sharp enough to tuck away the rebound. So Birmingham at last have broken the deadlock here. 1-0 they lead.
Birmingham City 1, Derby County 0. Goal difference meant that Wigan occupied a relegation place ahead of a home game at 10th place West Ham. Points and goals are vital. James Mason reporting.
And it's still Wigan 1, West Ham 0, Ray. And Wigan still hold that crucial lead through Kevin Kilban's looping header just before half-time. How valuable could that odd goal prove to be? To their credit, they're not sitting on their lead, though rather adopting Steve Bruce's new attacking philosophy, whereas Alan Kirbishley has thrown Craig Bellamy and Lee Boyd to try force an opening. Wigan 1, West Ham 0.
Reading and Bolton both 2 points above the relegation places, going into a game that Mark Bishop is watching. Both teams in desperate need of a victory.
They certainly are, Ray. Reading 0, Bolton Wanderers 2. Reading have self-destructed here at the Medeski. They're heading for their 6th successive league defeat. Kevin Nolan with an early strike made it 1-0, and then with Reading's defence in disarray, appealing for offside, Heider Helgeson has been excellent today, clearly steered the ball past Hanneman, and all this after the big American had saved a penalty from Taylor. Reading 0, Bolton Wanderers 2.
Luton's relegation fears are growing and growing. Hartlepool 4, Luton 0 in League One. News now on the Barclays Premier League game between Blackburn and Everton. Both clubs believe they can break into the so-called close shop of the top 4. Everton did it a few years ago. They hope to do it again. Harry Gratian reporting.
0-0 here, Ray. Much better stuff from Everton generally. Certainly the start was good. Fernandes closed, and then he hit the post with a free kick, which really should have scored, perhaps. Everton perhaps beginning to show signs that they're getting on top, but I have to say the last few minutes has been all Blackburn Rovers. 0-0 here.
Liverpool and Sunderland kick off at 5:15. Tomorrow's Barclays Premier League games: Newcastle versus Middlesbrough, Fulham play Aston Villa. Here's the full story of the Manchester City-Arsenal match played this lunchtime. Guy Moby reporting.
Another 2 goals for Emmanuel Adebayor as Arsenal go back to the top of the Premier League, at least for a couple of hours. The Gunners were 2 up inside 26 minutes, as first Adebayor and then Eduardo made the most of some ramshackle defending from a City side who were giving their opposition too much respect and time to play. A goal back from Gelson Fernandes did at least mean we had a game on again as City rallied, but Arsenal held out comfortable in the end as Adebayor wrapped it up with 3 minutes to go. He's now scored in 8 successive games. And a footnote, to make City's afternoon worse, Ilana was booked and along with Chorluka will miss next Sunday's Manchester derby. Manchester City 1, Arsenal 3.
Arsenal lost 1 of 25. What do Manchester United have to do sort of performance-wise in the vital 15 minutes left? Are they threatening to score at White Hart Lane, Gary?
Not really. I don't think they've had a shot on target or a shot that the keepers had to save. They've had a lot of possession. Tottenham have played on the counter-attack, but defensively they've been excellent and limited Manchester United to almost no chances.
You can't do any better when you're a big money transfer than get a goal on your debut. Jermaine Defoe, Pompey fans will love him already, won't they?
They will do. You know, I spoke to him a few days ago, Ray, and the one thing he said, he just wants to play football and wants to score goals, and he believes if he's given a chance, he'll score goals. No, he's gone there for £9 million and great start to his life at Portsmouth. He scored a goal on his debut.
Garth, we have to start considering that Emmanuel Adebayor may win one of the awards, and as an individual player award at the end of the season. He was sensational again today.
He's had a fantastic and outstanding first half to the season. He's really led the line brilliantly for Arsenal and he set the pace. Arsenal, Chelsea, et al. Have got to do their best to stay with them. They're playing great stuff. United are fighting like bears to get back in the game, but Jonathan Woodgate has been defending like a bear.
Fifth round FA Cup ties centre stage in Scotland. Rangers play away at Hibs tomorrow. Hull Celtic played away at Kilmarnock at lunchtime. Roddy Forsyth reports on the outcome.
Celtic had only one of their new signings on show, and he was a substitute, Samaras. But if this is how they're going to perform in the business half of the season, we're in for fun. 2 goals by Scott McDonald, contributions by Caldwell and Vinegar of Hesselink, and a debut strike for Samaras demolished a Kilmarnock side who cut their own throats with desperate defending. And it was typical of their performance that when they did get a goal in the second half from Jamie Hamill, they conceded another within 40 seconds. A romp for the holders. Kilmarnock 1, Celtic 5.
Walsall's 17-game unbeaten run in League One could be coming to an end. Carlisle 2, Walsall 1. Crystal Palace have taken the lead at Selhurst Park at home to Southampton. James Scowcroft on 73 minutes. Crystal Palace lost their first game in 16 on Monday. Their claim for a playoff place is improving. Coventry have lost the last 4. They're going to win this afternoon. They're 3 up at home to Barnsley. Also in the Scottish Cup, Brian McLaughlin will bring us right up to date on the All-Premier League clash between St Mirren and Dundee United.
Still goalless here, Ray, with 10 minutes left for play. The home side have passed up a couple of golden opportunities recently. Craig Dargo bursting through United defence, but firing just inches wide of Zaluska's left-hand post. Then a Billy Mehmet chip was deflected just wide away for a corner. United have introduced Mark de Vries in an attempt to change the flow of the game, but it's still St Mirren 0, Dundee United 0.
Another cup tie underway as Premier League Aberdeen versus League One leaders Hamilton. Hamilton did the hokey-cokey in the cup this week. They were in and out because Brechin played ineligible players. Ian Turner reporting.
Xander Diamond's goal is all that separates the sides in this excellent cup tie in front of Aberdeen's smallest crowd of the season. Accies have matched the Dons every inch of the way except in goal scoring, although they have kept Dons keeper Jamie Langfield busy all afternoon. 8 minutes left, Aberdeen 1, Hamilton.
In League Two, Shrewsbury have equalised at home to Lincoln City on 76 minutes. Shrewsbury 1, Lincoln City 1. To the Championship now, West Bromwich Albion led the table going into this afternoon's games. They're home to a Burnley side that arrived on a run of 3 straight wins. Steve Lee reporting.
Yes, it's West Brom 2, Burnley 1. Albion back on track after 1 point from the last 2 league matches. 65 goals have been scored by Tony Mowbray's great entertainers. Bostian Caesar, Roman Bednar on the mark for Albion. This after James O'Connor put Burnley ahead after 4 minutes. Robert Corrins missed a penalty for Albion, but Burnley with 36-year-old Andrew Cole making his debut as a second-half sub, still very much in the game. West Brom 2, Burnley 1.
Stranraer 2, Forfar 1 in Scottish Division 3. Forfar have lost 5 games, bottom of the table. James Cobinger has given them a chance. Brian Jewell, given them a chance. James Cobinger scored a second goal for Doncaster, who kicked off in second place in the League One table, away at Millwall, who are struggling. Back to the Coca-Cola Championship. Stoke 2, Cardiff 1. A result. Alistair Yeomans watched this match.
Cardiff's first defeat since mid-December, and they gave themselves too much to do after going 2-0 down. Roger Johnson was unfortunate to put through his own goal 6 minutes before half-time, and Ricardo Fuller was too strong for the away defence when he surged into their penalty area shortly after the break. Fuller was brought down and scored the resulting penalty. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank gave Cardiff hope with a tap-in, but was denied an equaliser moments later when Steve Simonson saved well, and Stoke did enough to preserve a precious victory.
They move Stoke up to third for now. Let's see how second place Bristol City are faring away at Queen's Park Rangers. Rangers 3 points above the relegation places. Carrie Davis at Loftus Road.
It's still QPR 3, Bristol City 0. QPR defending en masse now. They're desperate not to jeopardise any of those 3 points. The first 2 goals coming from Patrick Adjumang in the first half. The third was a lovely move down the right, Manskin to Buzaki. 1-2 with Adjumang, back to Buzaki. A real pile driver past Adriano Basso. Can say that Bristol City have had their chances. Adebola had a shot off the post. Double save from Lee Camp because he saved the rebound as well. Lee Johnson had a header saved by Camp, and McKindo's shot was blocked by Damien Stewart. But it's still QPR 3, Bristol City 0.
Arsenal 1, Manchester United losing. Let's hear about Chelsea away at Portsmouth. David Garrido.
Drawing at the moment, Ray. Portsmouth 1, Chelsea 1, although there have been chances to add to that scoreline. Jermaine Defoe, of course, with Pompey's goal on his debut for the club. Looks like giving the home side a share of the points. He almost had a second, though, when put through by Arnold Mboemba, nudging his shot wide as Petr Cech came out to challenge him. At the other end, though, Sean Wright-Phillips latching onto a crossfield ball. Similar situation, and also pushed his shot wide. It looks like we could get a goal to win this one here, but at the moment it's Portsmouth 1, Chelsea 1.
League 2 leaders Milton Keynes Dons back with the bang. First win in 5, 1 point from 12 before today, but they've scored 5 away at Gig Lane. Bury 0, Milton Keynes Dons 5. Milton Keynes Dons march to promotion continues. Back to the Championship. Scunthorpe need points to climb out of the relegation places. Charlton need points to get closer to the automatic promotion places. Steve Sutton reporting.
Well, at the moment, Ray, it's Scunthorpe who sit on 3 very valuable survival points. They lead by a goal to 0 midway through the second half. The goal came from Martin Patterson, a second half substitute after a cross from Jack Cork. Charlton made a complete hash of the clearance, and Patterson drilled it into the net. Scunthorpe are fighting harder than Charlton, it has to be said. They lead 1-0.
Manchester United throwing everything they can at the Tottenham goal at White Hart Lane. Adam Parsons.
Well, it's still Spurs 1, United 0. Yes, it's like the end of an FA Cup tie here. Rooney, Tevez, Ronaldo have all had chances. None of them have gone in. The Tottenham goalkeeper Cherney's just been booked for time wasting. Still Spurs 1-0.
Can you see a goal being scored? Can you see Manchester United getting a goal here, Garth?
Yeah, I can. They're really now turning the temperature up. It's been fantastic defending. Chimpunda, as the reporters just said, Dawson, Woodgate have all played fantastic part. But United are going for broke.
Are Chelsea going to get a winning goal at Fratton Park, Les?
I'll tell you what, it's really difficult to call because both teams are attacking with vigour and both of them have had great chances to go into the lead, but very difficult to call.
Gary, you must be worried for your Manchester United side now.
Yeah, I mean, it's taken 75 minutes for them to have a shot on target and test the goalkeeper. But in the last 10 minutes or so, they're putting a lot of pressure on Tottenham. But they've got all the answers at the moment.
Back to the Championship. Crystal Palace in the promotion race. They lost for the first time in 16 games last Monday. Home game with Southampton. Tony Lockwood reporting.
Palace 1, Southampton 0. Talk that Neil Warnock may rest James Scowcroft. He resisted the temptation, and when the ball dropped inside the Southampton penalty area, Scowcroft turned and drilled the ball into the bottom corner. It's tough on managerless Saints, who've travelled well of late, but having said that, Ben Watson has hit the post for Palace twice inside a minute. Palace 1, Southampton 0.
Port Vale, bottom of League One. Draw won't be enough. Bristol Rovers 2, Port Vale 2. Chris Lyons with 9 minutes to go. Sheffield Wednesday just above the relegation places in the Championship. Ipswich just below the playoff places. Haven't won away all season. Alan Biggs watching the two sides at Hillsborough.
This may be the day when one of football's most perplexing records is finally removed. It's Sheffield Wednesday 1, Ipswich 2. It's Ipswich's 15th attempt at an away win, and their often slick performance has made that even more of a mystery today. Stunning early goal from one of their 5 recent signings, Alan Quinn, only for Marcus Tudgay to crack an equally accomplished equaliser. It was all square for a while, chances at each end, but Ipswich substitute Alan Lee poached a second goal within 4 minutes of coming on. Ipswich lead 2-1.
Let's go to Ewood Park. Blackburn Rovers against Everton. Harry Gratian.
Well, we thought the deadlock had been broken, Ray, but it's just been overruled. I think for offside, Johnson's managed to skip round the goalkeeper rather well, Brad Friedel, but the assistant referee had his flag raised quite definitely, and despite the protestations from Everton, the goal has been disallowed. 4 left here, 0-0 still.
Goalless in the Blackburn-Everton game. Still time for Manchester United to get an equaliser. Adam Parsons, are they going to do this?
Well, it's 6 minutes left on the clock here. There's still one down to Tottenham, but I can tell you Wayne Rooney has just been booked for diving, heading towards the Spurs penalty area, and that means that he misses the Manchester derby, at which the Munich air crash will, of course, be commemorated. One of us, absolute welter of yellow cards in this game. United looking ever more desperate for that equaliser.
Is that a booking for Wayne Rooney for simulation, diving?
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. It was a dive, and he got punished for it.
Is that the way you saw it too, Gary?
Yeah, there was minimal contact in the box, and he just went over far too, and it wasn't a penalty. And I think the referee probably got a spot.
Woodgate stood up in actual fact and let him go through.
I think it was Dawson.
Dawson, I beg your pardon.
It's a cruise for Coventry this afternoon, isn't it? 4-0 against Barnsley. Coventry on a run of 4 straight defeats. Ian Winter's watching this match.
Ray, it's Coventry 4, Barnsley 0 for over an hour. It was a desperately poor game in which Coventry led through Leon Best after 37 minutes. And then the floodgates opened and the Barnsley defence collapsed. Julian Gray, J-Tab and Leon Best with his second. Coventry turning on a super show now. Barnsley are dead and buried. Coventry lead 4-0.
And 1 win in 7 has damaged Plymouth's bid for a playoff place. Not going to improve, it appears. Opponents Hull going well. They'd lost 1 in 7 going into today's game. Hamish Marshall reporting.
Yeah, it's the visitors who are closing in on the playoff zone thanks to a Dean Windass close-range goal just before half-time, capping an excellent leading-of-the-line display from the veteran. The transfer window has ripped the heart out of the Plymouth team. It may have been unavoidable and brought in over £5 million, but it is showing on this display. It's Plymouth 0, Hull 1.
Let's stay in the Championship. Arsenal have won, by the way. Manchester United losing, Chelsea drawing. Colchester United kicked off against Sheffield United, bottom of the table. Blades of Sheffield nearer the relegation places than the playoff places. Stuart Roach with the latest.
I think it's going to stay that way. 5 minutes to play and it's still Colchester 2, Sheffield United 2. Colchester trailed at half-time to Luton Shelton's well-taken strike, but Kevin Lisby's screamer in the first minute of the second half brought the home side level, and they were in front when Johnny Jackson's free kick deflected wickedly off substitute Chris Armstrong. But that lead lasted a matter of minutes before David Carney's shot on the turn in a crowded area hauled the Blades level. It's 2-2, 5 minutes to play.
Back to White Hart Lane. Ronaldo lining up a free kick just outside the penalty area. Adam Parsons.
It's one of those moments that everyone in the stadium holds their breath. Ronaldo, well, he's tricked us all. He's played it sideways to Rooney. The shot comes into the area, beaten away, and Dawson passes it out. United running out of time, but they've still got chances. Still 1-0 to Spurs.
That wasn't the greatest free kick ever, but Manchester United still pushing towards an equaliser. Brentford have taken the lead away at second bottom Mansfield in League 2. 5 minutes to go. Nathan Elder has made it Mansfield 2, Brentford 3. Back to Selhurst Park. Tony Lockwood watching the Crystal Palace Southampton match.
1-1, Ray, and Stern John, who played his part in Sunderland's promotion-winning side last season, has weighed in with an important goal, an equaliser for the Saints. If it stays this way, it would be their 5th straight draw on the road. Palace 1, Southampton 1.
To Carrow Road, Norwich, 10 matches unbeaten, ahead of a home match with third bottom Preston, Robin Bailey.
A barnstorming finish by Norwich, but no goals. How they'll wish they got Gregors Raziak, or at least some Premiership striker, into this team on the loan period, because they couldn't and they cannot score, and it looks like a draw. And Alan Irvine, the Preston manager, hasn't had a draw in 15 matches so far. This is the 16th. Looks like it's going to be 0-0.
Let's go to St Andrews. Ivan Gaskell is watching the Birmingham Derby match. There's been a goal.
There has, and it's gone to Derby, and I think they deserve it. You've got to feel for them. They've tried their hearts out today, but they're so lacking in confidence. But at last a move has come together and it's paid off. Giles Barnes chased a lost cause into the corner, pulled it back. Leacock's cross, a fine cross from the centre half, and Tito Villa has turned it in with his head off a post. It's 1-1. It's about right.
Well, obviously it's a vital goal for Derby County, but we also must just say what that might cost Birmingham City eventually if they let those 2 points go.
Well, that would be terrible for Birmingham. Alex McLeish should be devastated. It's poor marking. Derby are down. It is a great header, but he's not picked up, and it's soul destroying for the Birmingham players and fans.
Tempers fraying at Ewood Park. Harry Grayson's watching the Blackburn-Everton match.
Yes, it was a bit of frustration, I think, from Arteta. He got bundled over by, I think it was Pedersen, and the referee at the moment, actually, Ray's just trying to sort it all out. I have to say, I think Arteta's bound to get a booking at the very least, but common sense may prevail here. That might be all that's necessary. The fact of the matter is that it's not been a dirty game. It's a bit niggly towards the last 10 minutes or so, but the referee just making his decision at the moment. If it's a red card, I'll tell you it's a yellow card for Arteta and also I think Pedersen as well.
Clock is ticking on Manchester United. They're still behind at Tottenham. In League One, Swansea were the clear leaders going into today's games. Sahil Sahi watched the Swans' early kick-off with Oldham. This is the result.
A forgettable match sprung into life with 25 minutes to play. An own goal from Oldham's Gary McDonald put Swansea ahead after a thrusting run down the right by Jason Scotland found McDonald's shins and the back of the goals. Craig Davis then equalised for the visitors from the penalty spot after he was fouled in the area, and the game was heading for a draw. But with 5 minutes to play, sub Fabian Brandy with a mazy dribble from 18 yards out lashed home the winner to keep Swansea streets ahead of the chasing pack in League One.
Yeah, they have a clear lead. Let's go to Carrow Road and hear from Robin Bailey.
Heartbreaking for Preston. Darryl Russell, fantastic from 25 yards out. A turn and shot gave Lonergan no chance at all. And Norwich, from being nowhere in this game, have won the match.
Arsenal won at lunchtime. Can't be long to go at White Hart Lane. Adam Parsons will tell us the latest situation in the Spurs-Manchester United match.
Well, it is still Spurs winning 1-0. We've got 3 minutes of extra time recommended, and by my reckoning, we're 1 minute and 15 seconds into that. United looking desperately frustrated. They have carved out so many chances recently. You wonder, why didn't they play like this for the first hour and a quarter? Still Tottenham winning 1-0.
Final whistle starting to sound all round the country. Don't forget Arsenal have won. Manchester United losing. Could be a good day for the Gunners. Let's find out the latest from David Garrido on the Portsmouth-Chelsea match.
Well, still one apiece. Pompey, very good value for this scoreline. Avram Grant's furrowed brow says it all. Hands in pockets in his technical area, just a few feet away from us. Apart from that Sean Wright-Phillips chance, Claudio Pizarro has fired from long range straight at David James at the other end. Jermaine Defoe, looking to add to that goal on debut, has just flashed another shot over the bar. It's Portsmouth 1, Chelsea 1.
Let's hear about Ipswich's first away win of the season from Alan Biggs.
Yes, February the 2nd, a first away win, 2-1 at Sheffield Wednesday. They deserve it as well, but let's not forget a precarious result for Wednesday, clearly lacking the midfield guile of Glenn Whelan sold to Stoke. And with goals from Alan Quinn, recent newcomer, and substitute Alan Lee, Ipswich eclipsed Marcus Tudgay's earlier equaliser, deservedly winning 2-1.
Just looking at the Pompey game, Les, Jermaine Defoe and Portsmouth had a few chances to win this match.
Yeah, done. And you know, Diarra, who for me has been a pick of the bunch of all the players out there today, he's just set up Jermaine Defoe with a really good chance. And you tend to think a week or two, a few weeks into his career where he's playing on a regular basis, he would have lapped that chance up. But unfortunately, this time he just flashes it over the bar.
Manchester United going to get an equaliser, Garth?
They're still going for it. And Spurs are just defending. They're throwing bodies in front of the ball. They're doing everything they can. But United are in the box at the moment. They flashed the ball across the... There was one moment when Nani shot from the corner flag. It was ridiculous. They're not playing the way they should be if they're going to want to get this equaliser.
Just going off the bottom of the video printer, another defeat for Leeds, another victory for Tranmere Rovers. They've won the last 4 on the bounce now. Let's get the developments now. Reading against Bolton, key game in the Premier League. Mark Bishop.
Reading 0, Bolton Wanderers 2. A spirited, feisty performance from Gary Mexon's side has inflicted a 6th successive league defeat for Reading at the Badesky. Bolton skipper Kevin Nolan put the visitors ahead. Ida Helgeson made it then 2-0. Hanneman made a terrific save to deny Taylor's penalty. It's ended Reading 0, Bolton Wanderers 2.
Looks like Reading in the relegation places. Let's go back to White Hart Lane. Adam Parsons.
It's Tottenham 1, Manchester United 1. The equaliser coming from Carlos Tevez. A corner swung in by Nani. Scramble in the box. Tevez stuck it home at the near post. I made it about 8 seconds from full time. 1-1.
Oh, well, really? That just shows what force Manchester United have. Didn't look like they were going to get anything, Garth.
It did.
They get an equaliser.
No, it did. It did all the time. They forced the issue. But on a set piece with seconds to go, the whistle's now gone. You can't defend the last corner of the game.
After the way they defended all matches as well.
I'd be livid if I was Ramos. Livid. They've thrown away 2 points.
That could be a key moment in the Premier League title race, couldn't it? Manchester United equalising can only have been seconds before the end of the game.
You know, you're into added time at the end of the game, and you know they get this corner, and you think the way Tottenham have defended today, they're definitely going to defend this, and unfortunately for them, Tevez just called, in no man's land. And
Ferguson's relieved. Look, he's absolutely relieved. He's got out of jail.
Well, let's get a summary of the final moments of what happened at White Hart Lane from Adam Parsons.
Well, Ray, as you said, Tottenham won, Manchester United won, and Sir Alex Ferguson has just walked down the tunnel with the air of a very pleased grandfather who's just got a particularly good present. He thought his team has lost. He was wandering around looking furious because for the past quarter of an hour United have attacked relentlessly in search of an equaliser that seemed like it would never come. They had chance after chance, but in the end it was Carlos Tevez who bunged home at the near post. This after Dimi Berbatov had given Tottenham an earlier lead for the finishing Lennon's cross. All this in the week when we commemorate the Munich air crash. 1-1.
A dramatic conclusion to the match at White Hart Lane. Wigan against West Ham. James Mason. Big win for Wigan. James Mason.
A good game, Ray, that's ended. Wigan 1, West Ham United 0. A goal on the stroke of half-time from left-back Kevin Kilban has stolen the point. The most crucial of 3 points for Wigan. His looping header was just reward for a performance full of grit and the occasional class by a Wigan team who outmuscled a West Ham side in recent good form. Alan Kirbishley will be frustrated at his team's performance. Steve Bruce will be delighted. It ended Wigan 1, West Ham 0.
Final whistle has gone at Ewood Park. Blackburn against Everton, 8th versus 4th at kick-off. Harry Gratian.
The debate will be on 86 minutes when Johnson scored and the assistant referee put his flag up. That will be decided, I suspect, on Match of the Day tonight. Fernandes had a couple of good chances for Everton to score, but right at the very end, I have to say that Santa Cruz very nearly won the game for Blackburn Rovers. A lot of passion towards the end. Disappointing first half, 0-0.
Let's immediately go to Fratton Park. The final whistle has sounded. Portsmouth against Chelsea. David Garrido.
One apiece, it's finished, Ray. What about this for an achievement for Pompey, depriving all of the big four with maximum points here at Fratton Park. Jermaine Defoe celebrating his debut after a £9 million move from Tottenham with a fine goal latched onto Milan Barish's flick on. He could have had 2 or 3 in the end. Nicholas Anelka finished off a fine move involving Malouda and Joe Cole for the opener, but Chelsea have been thwarted in their attempt at setting a new club record of 10 wins in a row in all competitions. It's finished Portsmouth 1, Chelsea 1.
Jermaine Defoe scoring for Pompey on his debut. Let's go to St Andrews, all over in the Birmingham derby match. Ivan Gaskell.
Yes, it was fascinating and it finished 1-1. Derby haven't won here since 1948, but I'm sure they'll settle for a point they chiselled out from a real rag bag of a match. Sebastian Larsson looked to have won it, succeeding where so many of his Birmingham teammates had failed. But credit to Derby, who hit the same post twice in one move. They plugged away. Ironically, Emmanuel Villa crushed Birmingham with a late header. 1-1.
Well, an interesting afternoon, a dramatic afternoon. That's the situation in the Barclays Premier League. In the Coca-Cola Championship, the leaders West Bromwich Albion home to Burnley. Steve Lee reporting.
Yes, it finished West Brom 2, Burnley 1. A few heart-stopping moments along the way, but Albion's promotion charge very much back on course after 1 point from their last 2 matches. Burnley, though, no pushovers. They went ahead through James O'Connor after just 4 minutes and made life difficult for Tony Mowbray's men, but Albion gradually wore them down. Bostjan Caesar volleyed the equaliser from Greening's corner. Roman Bednar got the second, a header. He's 12th of the season from Paul Robinson's cross. Corrin also missed a penalty. But the points go to the Albion. West Brom 2, Burnley 1.
And all the results are just about in. Time for Tim Gudgin to confirm today's final scores.
And in the Barclays Premier League, Birmingham City 1, Derby County 1. Blackburn Rovers 0, Everton 0. Liverpool and Sunderland have an evening kick-off in a few minutes. Manchester City 1, Arsenal 3. Portsmouth 1, Chelsea 1. Reading 0, Bolton Wanderers 2. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Manchester United 1. Wigan Athletic 1, West Ham United 0. In the Coca-Cola Championship, Blackpool 2, Leicester City 1. Colchester United 2, Sheffield United 2. Coventry City 4, Barnsley 0. Crystal Palace 1, Southampton 1. Norwich City 1, Preston North End 0. Plymouth Argyle 0, Hull City 1. Queen's Park Rangers 3, Bristol City 0. Scunthorpe United 1, Charlton Athletic 0. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Ipswich Town 2. Stoke City 2, Cardiff City 1. Watford and Wolverhampton Wanderers have an evening kick-off. West Bromwich Albion 2, Burnley 1. In the Coca-Cola League 1, Bournemouth 2, Nottingham Forest 0. Brighton and Hove Albion 3, Crewe Alexandra 0. Bristol Rovers 3, Port Vale 2. Carlisle United 2, Walsall 1. Gillingham 0, Cheltenham Town 0. Hartlepool United 4, Luton Town 0. Leeds United 0, Tranmere Rovers 2. Leyton Orient 2, Southend United 2. Millwall 0, Doncaster Rovers 3. Swansea City 2, Oldham Athletic 1. Swindon Town 1, Northampton Town 1. Yeovil Town 0, Huddersfield Town 2. League 2, Accrington Stanley 0, Wycombe Wanderers 2 is the latest score. Barnet 0, Morecambe 1. Bury 1, Milton Keynes Dons 5. Chesterfield 1, Chester City 1. Dagenham and Redbridge 0, Stockport County 1. Macclesfield Town 0, Bradford City 1. Mansfield Town 2, Brentford 3. Notts County 1, Grimsby Town 1. Rochdale 0, Peterborough United 2. Rotherham United 0, Hereford United 1. Shrewsbury Town 1, Lincoln City 2. Wrexham 2, Darlington 0. In Tennant Scottish Cup 5th round, Aberdeen 1, Hamilton Academical 0. Kilmarnock 1, Celtic 5. Livingston 0, Partick Thistle 0. Morton 0, Queen of the South 2. Ross County's match with St Johnstone postponed. St Mirren 0, Dundee United 0. The Ernbrew Scottish Division 1, Clyde 1, Stirling Albion 3. And in Scottish Div 2, Airdrie United 3, Wraith Rovers 0. Berwick Rangers match with Cowdenbeath and Peterheads with Alloa Athletic, both postponed. Queen's Park 2, Brechin City 3. And Scottish Div 3, Dumbarton 1, Elgin City 4. East Fife 1, East Stirling 0. Montrose 2, Albion Rovers 1. Stenhousemuir 0, Arbroath 3. Stranraer 2, Forfar Athletic 1.
One late kick-off in Coca-Cola League 2. It's not over yet, but Wycombe Wanderers, it looks like, are going to get 3 points. Accrington Stanley 0, Wycombe Wanderers 2. We'll hear the thoughts of Les Ferdinand, Gary Pallister and Garth Crooks in the light of today's results after we've looked at the updated league tables. There's the Barclays Premier League table. Arsenal return to the top after a convincing 3-1 win at Manchester City. Emmanuel Adebayor helps himself to another 2 goals as the Gunners end City's long unbeaten home record at the City of Manchester Stadium. Manchester United equalised with the last kick of the match to secure a 1-1 draw at Tottenham. They do, however, fall 2 points behind the Gunners as a result. Chelsea also lose some ground on Arsenal as they're held to a 1-1 draw at Portsmouth. They're now 6 points off top spot. Everton drew 0-0 at Blackburn to stay 4th, while City rivals Liverpool could move up to 5th if they get at least a point in this evening's early evening kick-off at home to Sunderland. Derby pick up back-to-back Premier League points for the first time this season with a battling 1-1 draw at Birmingham. Second bottom Fulham weren't in action this afternoon. They remain 6 points from safety. Birmingham City complete the bottom 3. Free-falling Reading have slipped another league place to 17th. The Royals have now lost 6 league games on the bounce after a 2-0 defeat at home to Bolton. Wigan, the big movers, up 3 places to 15th thanks to a 1-0 win at home to West Ham. In the Coca-Cola Championship, West Bromwich Albion have opened up a 3-point gap as a consequence of their win over Burnley and Bristol City's defeat at Queen's Park Rangers. Stoke returned to winning ways, having had their 12-match unbeaten run ended in midweek. Watford will move up to second if they beat Wolves in the 5:20 kick-off. Colchester have found home wins hard to come by, and a draw with Sheffield United leaves them 3 points adrift at the bottom. That's because Scunthorpe earned their first points in 4 games, beating Charlton. Good win. Defeats for Preston, Sheffield Wednesday and Leicester. Coca-Cola League 1. Swansea City continue to look champions in waiting. Their 8th straight home victory against Oldham maintains a 10-point gap at the top of the table for the Swans. Doncaster remains second and now unbeaten in 10 away games, courtesy of their 3-0 win at Millwall. Carlisle leapfrogged Walsall after a 2-1 victory against them. Nottingham Forest slipped to 4th after losing at Bournemouth. Port Vale remain at the foot of the table after a 3-2 defeat to Bristol Rovers. Luton lost for the 8th successive game, 4-0 defeat at Hartlepool. Hatters stay deep in trouble, now 7 points from safety. Improving Bournemouth did their hopes of survival no harm at all with a fine 2-0 win at home to Nottingham Forest. Crewe lost 3-0 at Brighton and stay in 21st place. And there's Coca-Cola League 2. First win in 5 games seals Milton Keynes Dons extend the lead to 8 points. Their nearest challengers Darlington and Rotherham both lost. That's allowed Peterborough, Hereford and Wickham to narrow the gap. All 3 clubs won today. Wrexham's incredible win over second-place Darlington extended their unbeaten run to 4 matches, lifts them off the bottom. Mansfield are the new incumbents, having lost today. Dagenham and Redbridge and Bury both suffered home defeats, are overtaken by Lincoln, who beat Shrewsbury. With managers and players emerging from their dressing rooms, lots of post-match reaction on the way. After this summary of the top football stories of the day. Carlos Tevez rescues Manchester United with the last kick of the game, but a point for Spurs still hands the title initiative to North London rivals Arsenal. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel continues his spree. Another 2 goals as Arsenal go top of the table. That result brings an end to Manchester City's unbeaten home record. Defoe is Jermaine man now. The £9 million signing marks his Portsmouth debut with the equaliser to thwart Chelsea's bid for a club record 10th successive win. Goals from Kevin Nolan and Heide Helgeson give Bolton their first away win league of the season at out-of-form Reading, who are struggling. Kevin Kilban kept his head to haul Wigan Athletic out of the relegation zone. He gave the Latics a first ever home win against the Hammers. Villa thwarts Birmingham. The Argentinian forward scores a last-minute equaliser for Derby, and that dumps the Blues into the bottom 3. And the European audition fell flat at Ewood Park as Blackburn and Everton ground out a goalless draw. Everton, though, strengthened their grip on 4th place. Highlights of all today's Barclays Premier League games and the Liverpool-Sunderland game still to be played in tonight's match of the day at 10:30. It's been quite an afternoon. Garth, great afternoon for the Arsenal, the way things have turned out.
Yes, it is. I'm still getting over the last-minute goal by Manchester United, quite frankly. Talk about Arsenal. Great performance away at the City Stadium in Manchester. Adebayor, outstanding. Eduardo, great finish. And worthy to be top of the table.
Manchester United never give up, do they? As Garth was saying, you could see the pressure coming late on in the game. But at one stage it appeared as if they just wouldn't get the equaliser.
Yeah, I mean, it took 75 minutes for Manchester United to test the Tottenham keeper, Cherney, which was very much unlike a Manchester United side. The last 15 minutes, they laid siege to Tottenham's goal. They defended manfully, they didn't let them create an awful lot. And then in the last minute, or fourth minute of injury time, I think it was, they just switched off. Didn't pick up Tevez from a corner, straight to him, and he flicks it in at the near post. They've been devastated at letting it go so late.
Les, tell us about Jermaine Defoe's debut for Portsmouth.
I mean, what I can tell you is he scored a goal, I think, for the first half. He kind of like the game passed him by. It took him a while to get into it, but then, second half he got his goal. You could see the confidence coming into him, and he had 2 or 3 other chances where he tested the goalkeeper. One he flashed over the bar, and all in all, he'll be pleased with the way it went for him today. But I think a point each was a fair result when you looked at the way the game went.
Reaction now to the lunchtime game. More details on the Manchester City-Arsenal match now from Guy Mowbray.
It's a early afternoon, I would think, for you.
Yes, we had a good start and 2-0 up. We lost a little bit our concentration and made a mistake that brought them back to 2-1. After that, it was, of course, you're a bit in between. Do we really push on or do we not make a mistake at the back? And the game opened up in the last 10-15 minutes completely when City went for it, really, and then we scored the 3rd goal.
I know it's your job, but can you tell us how you can lift the players? Because I sense from the supporters they're starting to feel the season maybe is fizzling out a little.
That's very dangerous. If we think that this season is finished, it shall not be like that. And we have to fight, and if we want to play in Europe, we have to fight, and that's it.
I'm doing very well at the moment, and I think the team is doing well as well. That's the most important thing, because if I keep on letting go and at the end we always lose the game, that will be nothing, But I managed to score goals and we managed as a team to win the game. So that's the most important thing. I'm very pleased with that.
I presume you will have Felipe Caicedo available next weekend. Will you also have Benjani, or has that gone away?
Caicedo almost for sure will be available, but the other one I don't know. We have to wait and see Monday, Tuesday what's happening.
Well, what is good, we have played early, we have done our job, so we can enjoy the rest of the weekend and just see what happens.
Well, what happened is that Manchester United only drew and dropped points. For full details on all today's football news, the results, the tables, goal scorers, match reports and post-match reaction, and for sports news across the board, you can go to the BBC Sport website, which is constantly being updated. As Emmanuel Adebayor, surely in line for one of the awards at the end of the season, wouldn't you agree?
I mean, we've talked about Ronaldo for the last few weeks, how fantastic he is, and he's been absolutely sensational. But I think if there's a player that's up there with him, it's Adebayor. Every time he goes out on the pitch, he looks like he's going to score a goal. He's been sensational, you know. And what I like about him is, you know, all types of goals. You know, left, right foot, headers. For me, he's the complete centre forward at this moment in time.
Emmanuel Adebayor, Fabregas and Ronaldo, they'll be in line for the awards, won't they?
Yeah, and Fabregas and Haleb played a central role, I think, in the third goal that Adebayor scored.
That's right. Yeah.
And it was a great team performance. I mean, let's not forget Adebayor is central to the team performance, but Fabregas, Haleb, Eduardo all played their part today.
Everton were denied a controversial winner in their match at Blackburn. There's their manager David Moyes talking to Harry Grayson.
David, it all seemed to hinge on that goal or no goal. How did you view it?
Well, it's a goal because when it leaves James Vaughan's foot, I think there's at least 2, 3. It could even be classed as 4 if you include Brad Friedel in that, who I think are all the other side of the ball, are level with Andy Johnston. So a goal should have been given.
How are the players reacting to that? Because obviously that was a crucial decision. It could be a vital decision when you're talking about Champions League and things like that.
Yeah, it could be, but we're trying not to talk about referee's decision. I thought we'd won in midweek. Now that I'm going to talk about it, a penalty kick in midweek, and I thought that today. So, but we're trying not to bother. After the derby, we said that we wouldn't talk about referees again, or certainly the decisions. But I think you might be right. That could be costly because that was points taken away from us very late in the game.
What about the David Dunn handball as well? Because that presumably was a contentious moment as well.
Certainly was. So there was quite a few today.
Yeah, I don't mean to sort of question you about referee decisions. Obviously, they were crucial though to the way that you played the game. I mean, you were playing reasonably fluent football.
Mm-hmm. No, I was pleased with the way we played today. It was always going to be a tough game. I think, you know, 2 teams are determined to get something from the game as well. I thought we had some good opportunities, and I'm disappointed we didn't take the 3 points in the end.
Everton 4th in the table. Not too long to go, but let's just look ahead to next Wednesday. England play their first international under new coach Fabio Capello. England-Switzerland from Wembley Wednesday night at 7:30. Quite an afternoon, Garth.
Fantastic afternoon. Portsmouth Chelsea, excellent game. Spurs Man United, fantastic. And I agree with David Moyes. It was a harsh decision. It had put them in a great position.
From here on in, one team's going to win, the other team maybe don't win. Arsenal, Manchester United, Chelsea are going to trade results.
Yeah, I think Arsenal had it the right way round today. They were happy to play first and let Man United have to catch them.
A reminder now that coming up tomorrow, the first 2 quarter-finals in the Africa Cup of Nations will be on BBC 3 and also via the Red Button. Also via the Red Button, we'll continue to hear from managers and players as they emerge from their dressing rooms. The league tables will cycle on the screen. Final score continues now till 6 o'clock via BBC I. And this is where we say goodbye to BBC 2 viewers. There's a Six Nations rugby action over on BBC 1. To stay with us here in the Final Score studio, press the red button. Otherwise, bye for now.